Jack here again with another installment in what it really looks like. Alright, so this is another case of a house that had been let go, or actually had been sort of maintained. They had done a renovation according to the permits pulled. Somebody did some electrical work, and we'll see that in a second. But one entire side of the house, not only was the sill sitting on the ground, there was no sill left. I didn't film that, sorry. It was pretty ugly, but here's the solution so far. What we have going on is I've got, once again, a ledger strapped up to the wall here, and I've got lots of bottle jacks under it. I've removed the one that was between these two. I go every 4 feet. It's a little bit small, a ledger, 6 inches. It's a little dicey, but it's working pretty well. And I have poured to replace an absolute absence of anything between very shaky footings, actually piers, but they were about 4 feet apart, and they were barely, almost insubstantial, even if there had been an actual sill. So as we're walking along here, you can see where I've had to dig out floor. It's a very strange situation with this house. They've got a full 200 amp service, upgraded. There's another example of the repour. It's about, I would say, 8 inches thick, sitting on clay. So it's not ideal, but it's better than what was there. If you look at the floor in here, this is why I purchased the house. I thought, looking at it, that it seemed like they were running oddly. The floorboards. Everywhere else in this house, they joisted in the normal way, running across the house, perpendicular to where it's supposed to be. But in the front, in this room, they joisted parallel to the length of the house and tied into a couple of beams that are tucked into the chimney here, which explains this extreme drop-off at the outer walls, where the walls have settled that because of exposure to weather, but the chimney itself had not settled. So you've got basically a 10 to 20 degree pit, and it's actually like a pitched roof. I would say it's like a 1 or 2 and 12. And the thing that kept all the other buyers away was this. You don't want your steps having a 1 and 2 pitch. I may have to tear these guys out. I think there's a chance that once I jack this wall up a couple inches and get a jack under these steps, that I can bring them to something like level. But right now, I'm thinking this is probably going to be a tear out of the steps. This house cost $8,000 less than my wife's new Mazda. It's not even new, it's a year old. So that'll give you an idea of what happens with these houses. When I finished, it's in an area that's going through pretty aggressive gentrification. I expect it'll probably rent for about $1,000 a month.